The artist way changed my life, and it also can change yours. So if you want to know how the artist way changed my life, stay tuned. The internet is full of people doing the artist way. And you wonder why? Because it's working. Hi, I'm JJ, and in this video I'll share my experience with the artist way. This book here. But what is this artist way? The artist way. The classic course in discovering and rediscovering your creative self. A spiritual path to higher creativity. The Artist Way is a book by Julia Cameron. I think she wrote it in the 90s. And it's not a book you read, it's a book you do. But why do I say it's a book you do instead of read? Because it's a 12-week program with essays and exercises that help you to rediscover your creative self. I'm on my second run doing it, so I did the Artist Way probably around the last year, and it took me half a year to finish it. So if you're feeling behind in life and you feel like you can't commit to 12 weeks because you won't be able to finish it anyway, don't worry, I got you. I did the Artist Way in 6 months and it still worked. If you might think now, I'm not an artist, why should I do the Artist Way? First of all, you might be an artist and not knowing it. And secondly, I think the Artist Way is a process that works for everyone. If you're a software engineer or a lawyer, a doctor, I think the Artist Way is great for everyone. Because we're so much more than just one role. And we tend to define ourselves and put ourselves in boxes that are just too small for a human being. Because we're way more complex than the labels we attach to ourselves. To summarize what I think the Artist Way is about, it's about becoming a more well-rounded person and discovering interests about yourself that you might not know exist. How is this book structured? You first of all have an introduction where she explains certain concepts and invites you to keep an open mind. And I'll tell you later why you have to keep an open mind. In the introduction, for example, you have the basic principles and creative affirmations, things that you'll later in the course will work with. And she also introduces the 2 most important tools of this book, and also, in my opinion, the most important tools in your life in general, or at least in my life, they play a really big role. The first of these 2 tools are morning pages. I've talked about morning pages in, I think, every video up until now, and I'll probably keep talking about them in the future, because I'm such a huge fan of these. You write 3 pages of stream of consciousness. Ideally in the morning, I don't I don't always manage to write them in the morning, but I aim to have written 3 pages at the end of the day. And this works perfectly well for me, because sometimes it's also interesting to journal right before bed, because you can reflect on the day, and sometimes when you're a little bit tired, really interesting different things come up. So 3 pages. The second really important tool is the artist date. The artist date is a planned time just for yourself, where you do what you want. Like, it's a pre-planned time where, for example, you go to an antique shop, or for a walk, or paint, or watch an interesting documentary or movie. Just something that you enjoy, just time for yourself. It builds on the premise that the artist within is a child, so it allows us to learn to play again, because as responsible adults, there's no time in our life to play. And the Artist Way teaches us that it's so important to play and to take time for ourselves, for creative discovery and fun. This is what the artist date is about. And then you have different tasks and essays each week for 12 weeks. The essays and exercises each week dive into different topics. For example, your childhood. There's an exercise called Historic Monsters, where you have to write about the bad experiences you had in the past, someone saying that they don't like your art or things like that, which I find really healing. Being able to process sometimes just minor incidents that have a huge impact on your self-image. Another exercise is, for example, list your favorites. And I find it really interesting how difficult it can be to come up or to remember the things that I like. It's a good exercise just to remind yourself of the things that you like and enjoy. Another really interesting exercise was to list 20 things you like and add a date to when you did them last. And it can be really surprising that the things you really, really enjoy happened quite a long time ago. It's an invitation to dive deep into what you enjoy, what you like and what you don't like. My personal experience with the Artist Way is, like I said before, I did the Artist Way for the second time now. But morning pages is something that I started quite a long time ago. So these are all the morning pages I've written so far. I think my first book is missing. I had this book I wasn't really using, so I decided to fill it up with morning pages. Morning pages are also a really good way to fill up all the notebooks that you don't end up using or that you don't like the paper of, because you write so much that it doesn't really matter whether the paper is good or not. This is how I got rid of all the notebooks that I don't like. According to this notebook, I did the first morning pages in 2020. Was there any special world event happening in 2020 that might invite me to start journaling and reflecting? Morning pages were a tool that I incorporated a lot earlier. And because they worked so well, after a while, after hearing so many people on the internet and in my environment tell me that they did the Artist Way and that they really liked it, I was like, okay, I'm gonna try it. Because the morning pages worked, so maybe the other tools worked even better. And yes, they did. I'm really, really glad that I did the Artist Way. The first time I did the Artist Way, I overcame my fear of the internet and made a website. The second time I'm doing the Artist Way, I've overcome the fear of showing myself on the internet and started a YouTube channel. So yeah, I can say it works. The Artist Way did a lot more in my life than just this, but these are two examples that really highlight how much can happen when you just commit to doing it. So try it. After so much praise, you wonder, is there any drawback? Is there anything that I might not be aware of? Or is there anything that you need to know? Coming back to the open-minded thing I mentioned at the beginning. When I first started reading The Artist Way, I was like, I don't know if this book is for me. Because it always talks about God. And I don't really feel comfortable reading this. So the first time I did the Artist Way, I replaced God in my head with more neutral words like universe or energy. This was the only way that I could read this book, because it felt otherwise way too preachy for me. Even if I'd say that the general experience, how she's explaining creativity, is something that I can relate to, and that is also my experience of the world, of the universe. I don't know. But having it printed on paper, reading it in black and white, didn't feel too good for me. If you start reading The Artist Way and you read the introduction, this is probably the toughest part for reading, I find, because if you're a skeptic or an atheist, it's not an easy read, I think. But I think it's totally worth it to keep going and to keep that open mind, and also discovering whether there are any changes in your spirituality or your relationship with spirituality. Julia Cameron, for example, says that for her, she was raised Catholic, and for her, God was someone punishing and strict, stern. And this was not a God that she wanted to surrender herself to. So she surrendered to the only God that she could imagine herself surrendering, which is the God of creativity. This book teaches you to make your own God concept in a way, or universe concept or energy, whatever you want to call it. Make it your own. It's your relationship and your experience. I think it's totally worth it to keep going and push through that inner resistance that might be coming up. Because this is also a learning opportunity for yourself to learn something about your upbringing and your influences. To summarize this book, I can totally recommend it to everybody. It's a book that really changes your life because it changes your relationship with yourself. And this is something so powerful and so important. If you're doing or want to do the artist way, listen up, because I'm gonna share 3 tips that will make it much easier to accomplish. A tip for artist dates. Remember, it's about having fun. Artist date doesn't mean that you have to paint. Artist date can mean that you sort your bookshelf. Or, like me, I planned an artist date and I really didn't want to paint. What I really wanted to do is doing the Excel to track my personal finance. And I was like, oh shit, I should paint. But then I remembered, no, it's about having fun. And right now, I want to learn Excel and I'm having fun with it. Don't tell my 16-year-old self. Allow yourself to do what you really want to do in this moment. This time is for you. Do what you want. Also, I'm not that good at scheduling the artist dates this time around. So I'm better at doing like spontaneous artist dates and mini artist dates. It's about the element of play and allowing yourself to explore what you like. Allow yourself like mini breaks and things. But I want to get better at planning the artist date. So if you have any ideas on how to do that or any ideas for artist date, let me know in the comments. Second, morning pages. I think it's better to write them late at night than not write them at all. So instead of forcing yourself to do them right every morning, do them later. Third tip is on the exercises and tasks. So the weekly schedule can be quite strict. You have up to 10 exercises and it's like you have some pages of essays to read and then up to 10 exercises, which especially at the beginning are quite overwhelming. What I did was, if I didn't manage to do them during the week, I did them right before I did my weekly check-in on Saturday. So this time my plan was finishing the week on a Saturday and starting the new week on Sunday. This worked really, really well because Saturday I was like, oh shit, I didn't do any of the exercises. Then I would set aside like half an hour and speed ride through the exercises, just having them done and going low effort on them, and then doing my weekly check-in. So this is how I accomplished doing everything in 12 weeks now. I'm in week 11, so bear with me. But I'm pretty sure that I'll be able to do it this time. And also remember the tip from Julia Cameron. She says you don't have to do all the exercises. Aim to do like half of them. Do the ones that you really love and the ones you really hate that you don't feel like doing. And honestly, I still have exercises open from even the first time. I find it so difficult to write a letter for myself. So one exercise is you have to imagine being a kid and writing to your present self. I don't know why this exercise is so damn difficult for me. If you have any tips on how to approach this, please also let me know in the comments. Because second time, and I'm still not able to do it. I don't know why. It's so difficult. And if you feel like you don't have any time at all, listen to the audiobook. Just opening up yourself to positive messages and thinking about creativity will, in my opinion, help you to take action in the long run. And also remember, change often takes longer than we want to. So if you're unsure of starting the artist way, I hope I could help you and inspire you to, well, try it. I'm really happy that I did, and I think this is a book that everybody should do. Because there will be something in it for everyone. I'm sure of that. With this, let me know if you want to start the artist way. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm happy to help. It took me 3 years of morning pages to finally start the artist way. So I know that sometimes you just have to hear the message over and over again. Repetition is key. If you found any value in this video, please subscribe and like, because this really helps the channel out. And I'm looking forward to see you the next time. Bye. This is a video about how to be more creative in your day-to-day life. Feel free to watch it.